very rare clan to actually have its own pipe band as well.
And I'm really disappointed because they were actually going to come to Duns Castle to celebrate the castle's 700th birthday, and we're having a big garden party and the pipe band were going to play, and of course now they're not able to come. So next year, hopefully we'll get to meet the Hay Pipe Band. So on to the clan crest. The motto of the Hay clan is Server Dugum, which translates to keep the yoke, harking back to those early farmers that Monia mentioned before who led the clan to victory. And this motto appears in the clan crest, which we've popped up on the screen for you there, along with a falcon, which defined the Hay land with its flight.
In 2018, Clan Hay marched in New York at the Tartan Day Parade and were selected by the organisers to be the honoured clan. Clan Chief Right Honourable Merlin Hay, 24th Earl of Errol, and Lord High Constable of Scotland, as well as Isabel Jacqueline Lalaine Astel Holler, Countess of Errol, bit of a long name there, marched along with their office bearers, families, and their very own pipe band as well. And of course, they carried the yoke with them. Alec Hay also showed us his favourite kilt pin when we visited Duns Castle, which is the yoke, the shape there. So I think Ellie's got that on screen so you can see that on his kilt.
So on now, we've got a tartan on screen. I would better tell you about the Hay tartans, and it comes in a few different variations. You have the ancient, the modern, and the Hay and Leithern, which Monia's got here, and we're both wearing Hay modern this evening as well, just to celebrate the clan. I had never seen the hunting Hay woven, so it was a real treat to see Alec Hay's trews when we were there, because he has a pair in the hunting Hay. And this, if you want this tartan, Monia's going to hold it up. Sorry, we didn't have a swatch, so we'll show you a picture instead. And you can get that fabric, it's held by the Clan Society, so you can get that directly from them. I love those greens and blues, it's very nice. The hunting tartans are always in less conspicuous colours, often greens and browns, so they blend into the Highland landscapes.
Hello to Alan Hay, who has joined us from Aberdeenshire.
Hi, Alan.
It's nice to have you joining us. If you've got any Hay stories or if we get anything wrong, please do let us know.
Well, Alan was going to come and visit us here in the shop, but your trip was changed, wasn't it, Alan? So we look forward to meeting you another time.
So the Hay and Leith tartan is one of the oldest Hay tartans, which is this one here. It first appeared in the pattern books of the weavers Wilson of Bannockburn in 1819. Both the Leith and the Boy tartans are also said to have been based upon the Hay tartan to reflect the connections between the families. Other lesser known Hay tartans are the Drummond Hay, which tends to be simply known as Drummond, but was adopted by several cadet branches of the Hay and Leith family as well.
Now we do love our castles, so let's go back to some of the castles. And Old Slains Castle. So that the family's local seat of power was Old Slains Castle near Colliston. However, that castle wasn't destined to last. Francis Hay became the 9th Earl of Errol in 1585 and became embroiled in a rebellion after he converted to Catholicism. He conspired with fellow Catholic nobles, including the Earl of Huntly, to reverse the Scottish Reformation. So King James VI declared Francis Hay a traitor when the plot was discovered, and he blew up Old Slane Castle in retaliation.
Dramatic retaliation. New Slains Castle was built as a replacement sometime later, after Francis Hay renounced Catholicism in 1597. Meaning he once again returned to royal favour. A new castle was built close to the site of the older castle, which you can see on screen there, and although it was originally called Bowness, the castle was soon renamed New Slains.
And Monia loves, her favourite bit of this on the sofa is always the ghost stories.
Definitely.
But this week we have Dracula instead, which you've actually read, haven't you?
I have, it's very good.
So the author Bram Stoker's first visit to Cruden Bay was as part of a walking tour in 1893, and the writer fell in love with the place. After that first trip up North to Aberdeenshire, Stoker returned every summer until 1910, spending around a month in Cruden Bay each time. He was so taken with the place that he set two of his novels in the village, The Water's Moo, written in 1895, and The Mystery of the Sea in 1902. He often stayed at the Kilmarnock Arms Hotel, and that's where he started writing Dracula in 1895. And New Slains Castle is an imposing sight, and now it's ruined, sitting atop the cliff that's over the village. It was in pristine condition in Stoker's day, and there's no doubt that he took great inspiration from conjuring up Dracula's castle in Transylvania.
So the current chief of Clan is the Right Honourable Merlin Hay, 24th Earl of Errol, and Lord High Constable of Scotland. The Clan Hay Society was created over 70 years ago, and in 1951, a huge gathering of Hays at Murrayfield in Edinburgh marked the growing interest in members around the world in the motherland. The society told us that members of Clan Hay Society come from all 5 continents, all walks of life, and are of all ages, united by the common bond of family and a common interest in where they all come from. This interest takes many forms. There are some interested in locating their family roots, others in the highly sociable nature of the gatherings, which are, in a very real sense, the gatherings of an extended family. Whatever your interest, the Society has a warm welcome for all connected to the name of Hay and the many other names associated with it. So I think Emily will pop the link up on the screen, so if you would like to join the Clan Hay Society, then that's where to find them.
And if you've got any questions, post them now, because if Alan's online as well, then if we can't answer them, I'm sure he can. And so another fantastic character that I had the pleasure of virtually meeting this month was Tom Bauer Hay from San Diego. And you can listen to that interview over on our YouTube channel very soon. It's not quite up yet. So Tom's a member of the American branch of Clan Hay and treasurer of the House of Scotland, which I am determined to visit one day. I think that's definitely a good destination for one of our pop-up shops. A good excuse for me to visit San Diego since I've never been. So the House of Scotland, such an interesting place, and again, I won't go into it all today, but listen to the interview and you learn all about it. They have all sorts of gatherings and activities there which take place to allow their members to share their Scottish heritage. And you can even take a Gaelic class. And to be honest, Monia, I think given our pronunciation during some of these live shows, perhaps we should be going along.
Definitely.
They are virtual just now, so we've got no excuse. It is a bit ironic. Monia actually speaks fluent German and I speak French, but neither of us actually know the language of our own country.
So the Hays have lots of claims to fame and definitely have a literary bent with George Campbell Hay, who was born in Elderslie in Renfrewshire in 1915. He's the only son of novelist John MacDougall Hay, and it could be said that literary talent was in his blood as he went on to become one of Scotland's most prominent interwar poets.
And on the creative side, born in Edinburgh in 1798, and up on your screen there, is David Ramsay Hay. Oh, has Emily lost him? No, he's gone. Apologies, apparently. Sorry, that was George Campbell Hay on your screen. We're now to David Ramsay Hay, who was a prominent artist, colour theorist and interior designer, and he was best known for decorating the Palace of Holyrood House in Edinburgh for Queen Victoria in 1850, and also Abbotsford, which is very close to us down at our base in the Scottish Borders, which is also the home of Sir Walter Scott, and he did that in 1820.
Another famous Hay we learned about when we visited Duns Castle was Robert Hay. He was born there in the castle in 1799. He was an early Egyptologist who first visited Alexandria in Egypt while serving the Royal Navy in 1818, and he's on the screen there as well. He travelled to Egypt in 1824 and spent some time recording monuments and inscriptions. His manuscripts are now in the British Library, and his plaster casts are in the British Museum, which are both in London.
So there are obviously lots more Hays and we won't go into them all, but one of my favourites is Helen Scott Hay, who was born in 1869 to a Scottish father in Lanark, Illinois. And Helen Scott Hay is recognised for her contributions to nursing during World War One. She led a group of nurses with the American Red Cross in 1914, served in Kiev and Bulgaria, where she set up a training school for nurses. And she had various accolades awarded to her in honour of her contribution, including the Florence Nightingale Medal, the Gold Cross of St. Anna in Russia, and the Bulgarian Royal Red Cross. So you'll have to let us know who we've missed out, because I'm sure there's lots more famous Hays and we'd love to add them in. We do have a blog dedicated to them all, so let us know who we've missed and we'll get them added in.
We've also had some wonderful customer stories and photos sent to us, which we are busy collating into a blog to share with you all next week, so look out for that. And Anna tells me that, what is it, a hey, a hey, a hey?
A hey, a hey, a hey.
Hey, hey. That's the Hay clan war cry, is that right?
Yes.
So fun fact for you. So that brings us to the end of our Hay roundup. We have a few questions to reply to, but for genealogical queries, the Clan Hay Society are much more qualified than us to answer. So you can join the society or contact them via the website, which I think Emily has again put on the screen for you there.
So one of the questions that we've had this week was, what is the difference in the spellings? So a Hay and a Hay. So we had a Hay with an E, a Hay without an E, and also we have Tom. I don't know if you call it Hay, whether you pronounce it Hay or Hay, but anyway, his spelling is actually H-Y-E. So lots of different spellings, and does this change anything in your membership of the clan? Well, the answer is really no. They are different spellings, and because there was no standardised spelling until about the 16th century, so people just spelt things how they fancied, and that's how we've got lots of different variations of a single name. And we do have a blog all about that online, so you can go and have a read at that if you want to understand more about the different spellings and the mooks and the maks and all the stories behind that.
So our next question is from Pat Swift, and she's asking, what is the meaning of the colours of the tartan? So a lot of people like to imagine that the colours mean something like red is for courage, white is for purity, whereas the reality is that no such codified system actually exists. Although if you do wish to see it that way, you're more than welcome. So when speaking of the use of tartan historically, we can draw some conclusions from colour, but nothing quite like the symbolism. So for instance, red was a very expensive colour to obtain with natural dyes, and therefore someone wearing tartans a lot of red was likely to be a lot more wealthy. So one might also wear a bright coloured tartan in an attempt to show off your status or your wealth. A dark earth tone tartan might be chosen to blend in with the environment by someone on the hunt, and that's quite often what you find with the hunting variations of tartans as well. So more meaning can usually be found in the tartan design itself rather than in the colours used. And it's possible to show relation by similarity in the tartan design. So for instance, the MacDonald of Clan Ranald and the MacDonald of Glengarry tartans are simply variations of Clan MacDonald tartan, and just with white stripes added to the design to differentiate them. So that way they show relation to a larger parent clan whilst also having a bit of differentiation as well.
And Pat had another question for us. It's really good when you ask questions because we go away and we learn lots. And this one was about what the motto means, that keep the yoke. What does keep the yoke mean? And this derives from the Hay legend that we mentioned before, which details how the clan repelled the Danish invasion at Luncarty. I think someone needs to correct me whether it's Luncarty or Luncarty. But anyway, they used only ox yokes as weapons. So that's where the yoke comes from, and you see that in obviously the clan crest as well. Now, have we got any more questions on the screen? I'll just double check. Excuse me, my eyesight is terrible. Oh, Alan says he's only 40 minutes from New Slane, so he's very lucky. I hope you've not been smuggling any gin, Alan. Bring us some if you have. So I think that's the end of our questions, the end of our Clan Hay evening. And thank you very much for joining us. And if you've got any other questions or stories to share, we'd really love to hear from you. I felt like Hay was quite a small clan. I wondered how many stories we'd come up with, but we've definitely had more than we can possibly manage to share in one evening. Next week is Scotland International Week. So we've got a whole host of different interviews and chats from Scots around the world. So hopefully you'll join us for that.